Hello and welcome to another episode of Empower Talks. I'm Taqui Haider, and today we have joined by Miss Sunita Lama, an inspiring mindfulness and happiness facilitator with 8 years in the wellness field. Sunita ma'am brings a unique approach to integrating mindfulness into education, fostering a meaningful connection between intellect and emotion. Let's explore her wisdom on well-being and wellness. Welcome to the podcast, Sunita ma'am.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me here.
Okay, so let me start the podcast with the first question. I wanted to ask you regarding the self-care. In your experience, how would you define self-care?
Okay, thank you for asking
Yeah.
that question. So, self-care is about coming inwards and understanding the me in me.
Okay, okay.
So today we live in a world that is extremely busy, and we are running after a lot of things that is outside. And in that process, we have lost connection with ourselves, and that is the reason for unhappiness, confusion, not knowing who I am, and more than anyone else, in my opinion, I feel you can very clearly see this confusion, distractedness in teenagers.
Yeah.
And that leads to behavioral issues, a lack of motivation, disinterestedness. So they are lost.
Okay, you are talking about Gen Z, I guess.
Yes, I am. I am.
Okay.
Yeah. And this has also impacted, I think, our age.
True.
Because of the fact that now we don't know at what pace we need to move. Because somewhere we are traditional.
Yeah.
And then there is that need for us to move on and be at par with the changing times.
Okay.
So I think that's where our struggle is. Yeah.
Okay. That brings me to the next question, and I wanted to ask you about the happiness, science of happiness. Could you explain the science of happiness to our audience?
Yes. So the science of happiness is tapping into positivity
Okay.
or well-being. So we all know this.
Yeah.
That
in the end of the day, we everybody likes happiness, and everybody
Right.
wants to be a happy person.
Yes.
We are all looking for a gratification.
Right. And that is what the biggest mistake is, I think.
Okay.
Social media has made us very vulnerable. And we are always looking for gratification outside.
Yeah.
So, in the science of happiness, what we are talking about is going inwards and looking at a number of things that we have in our life that we can be grateful for. And
Yeah.
when we practice this ability to appreciate things
Yeah.
around us, it brings in that sense of contentment, joy,
Yeah.
bliss. And so these are inner qualities in us.
Okay.
And so the science of well-being helps us because we have this, it's called the negativity bias.
Yeah.
We are wired to think negatively.
True.
Or to always be in the state of fright, fear, or frozen, right? But then consciously making an effort to think about good things, to appreciate good things. Like, I just had a cup of tea that was
Yeah.
made by someone, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm tired. So
Yeah.
just having that cup of tea gives me a sense of relief and the gratitude that there is someone who can serve me
Gratitude,
tea,
yes, true.
right? And the minute I do that, biologically, there is a release of happy hormones,
Okay.
serotonin,
Yeah.
oxytocin, and that helps me, the stress level in me, to reduce. So we have these inbuilt mechanisms. The science of happiness just brings our awareness to these mechanisms and activate them.
Okay, so I'm an avid reader. I read a lot of books, especially the self-help books.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
In all the self-help books, I have observed that they emphasize more on gratitude. Means they will say you have to be, you have to say gratitude, and you have to be very, this is a very important thing.
Yeah.
In all the books, it's mentioned about the gratitude, and same thing you have mentioned here.
Yes.
Okay. So now the next question related to self-care and success. Many people view self-care as a luxury rather than necessity. How would you convince someone that self-care is actually key to long-term success and achievement?
So again, I
Yeah.
think this is a very good question.
Yeah.
Because there's a understanding, in my opinion. So people often take self-care for indulgence. But self-care, as I said, is coming to yourself, being in the being mode and seeing myself.
Can you just explain this indulgence once again to our audience?
So indulgence is like, I want to have an ice cream.
Okay.
I want to go to Starbucks and drink coffee. I want to buy a car. I want to buy the latest mobile of iPhone. Or, I want the latest model of iPhone, right? This is indulgence. So we mistake our self-care to be indulgence. Like I feel I'm taking care of myself by buying things that are actually my desires, and these are short term because I spend a lot of money and get the newest model of iPhone. How long will that last? Within few months there's another model, and then my desire is for the next one.
Okay.
So you can never fulfill your desires, right?
Okay.
But self-care is looking into myself and seeing what's happening to me. What is it that I'm missing?
Okay.
It could be like maybe I'm not sleeping enough. And that impacts my performance, isn't it? Because if I'm tired, then I'm not able to focus in my work. And my emotions are erratic. I get very angry, or I feel very low.
Okay. So this is all about self-awareness.
Yes. Self-care is self-awareness.
Okay.
Coming to yourself, noticing what is it that I'm not doing right? How can I give myself more time? What is it that I need to do more to help the best of me come out?
Yes, you are saying the right thing, but I have seen a lot of people, they are not aware about themselves.
Yes.
And few of them are very much aware about them. So what do you think? What is the reason why they are unable to understand?
So again, I think a very good question. So I would say the system that we live in, after a baby is born, and if you see a newborn baby till the baby starts to walk, they're the baby is spontaneous. Actions are very spontaneous. It comes from the heart, right? Once you start sending the child to a school, then conditioning begins. Do this, don't do this. Go for this, don't go for this.
Okay.
Yeah. And so these are the reasons. So the minute that begins, and our whole life we go through conditioning. I go to primary school, then middle school, then high school, then college, then university, and then to the work environment. So I'm actually not me. I have to live by these goals, expectations, objectives. And in doing that, I am so lost that I forget myself. And that's the reason why, as I said, I think today World Health Organization has already declared that loneliness is the new pandemic.
My God.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So now talking about loneliness, the one thing which is very common these days is stress, right? So stress is a common part of our daily, modern life. How can we cultivate awareness of our stress levels, and what are the first steps to effectively managing stress?
Yeah. So stress on the whole is not bad. Because if I'm not stressed, then I'm too laid back. And as a human being, I need to have that, that
push.
A factor that pushes me to come out of my comfort zone. So if I'm not worried or if I'm not stressed, I won't study.
True.
Yes. But stress becomes worrisome when it is chronic.
Okay.
When I'm only stressing and not acting.
Okay, not
putting in any effort.
Okay, you're only thinking about the result. You're not thinking about the process.
Yes. I have an exam. I have an exam.
Okay.
But what am I doing about it? Yeah.
Okay.
And so when I do that, if I'm only thinking, then I'm caught in a loop, and it goes on and on and on. That's when it leads to that's when it becomes worrisome.
Yeah.
And how does stress show up? You'll see it in your body. You feel
True.
panic attacks, your heartbeat becomes faster, then your body starts tightening. You feel, sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sense of nervousness.
Yeah.
And so these are signs. Our body is extremely intelligent. Again, if I'm attuned to my body, I can understand and notice all of these symptoms. And again, to regulate stress, I don't need help from outside, actually.
Sure.
So what is happening is that sense of worry is being stored in my body, right? And that's how the tightening and then the short breath happens. All that I need to do is release them.
Okay.
So by moving the body, exercising, doing some breath awareness exercises, breathing.
Okay.
Right? So these are some of the techniques that you can use to release yourself of stress. Proactive.
Okay.
Right? Notice it, see what it is that I need to do, and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can always consult the professional?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can, and it's also very important, especially amongst youngsters. It's very important that they come and talk about
True.
what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I feel too heavy.
True.
I always notice myself beating very fast. So can
Sometimes.
someone tell me
Yes.
what it is? Yeah. So yes, talking it aloud.
Yeah, communicating.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
that is also important.
Yeah.
And so that brings to the next question is mindfulness practices. Could you share some practical mindfulness or self-awareness techniques that people can incorporate into their daily routines to reduce stress and enhance mental well-being?
Yes. So mindfulness practice is, so the word mindfulness is presence. All that mindfulness means is coming to presence.
Okay.
So what happens when we are thinking or overthinking? Our thought is always about the future or the past.
Yeah. True.
I'm not here, right here, right now.
Present. Yeah.
But what is important is this moment. Because I have no control over my past. Past is already done and dusted.
True. True.
Future is yet to come. What do I know? Right? And who is certain about life?
Nobody.
So then what is important is this moment. So mindfulness practice helps us to come to this moment, right here, right now. So this can be done by bringing our awareness to our breathing.
Okay, breathing exercises.
Why breathing? Because it's a life force that is always happening. So it's a very good anchor. The minute I notice myself breathing, and if I can retain my focus on the breath, then my mind stops to wander back and forth.
Okay.
And then I arrive at that point of stillness. That's one.
Yeah.
Then again, another mindfulness practice is just walking.
Okay.
Another mindful practice is noticing your feet, noticing your hands, noticing your different parts of the body, then noticing the heartbeat, noticing your thoughts, noticing the sensations. So there are many types of practices. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask one more thing. It's not coming to my brain right now. So let me just ask you the next question, which is related with mental health. How does good mental health directly contribute to personal and professional success?
Yes. So again, mental health, right? The word mental health, or these two words, they're misunderstood. Mental health is like physical health. Yeah? So physical health means my body, and when any part of my body doesn't function properly, I need assistance, right? And I go for external help. So when I talk about mental health, it's just the mental part aspect of my being. But what is worrisome is when I'm overthinking or when I am not being able to focus. That is a cause of concern.
Okay.
And when my emotions are erratic, right? And many times, as you may know, this is what our students complain of all the time: mood swings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lot of
Yes,
time.
mood swings and anger issues, strong emotional.
Yeah, I believe that these terms are very famous since 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
Before that, we used to listen to it, but nowadays, every now and then, people saying we have got mood swings. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, so when we are talking about mental health, we are talking about bringing our awareness to this, our emotions, our well-being. What is my state of mind? What are my thoughts? We talked about positive psychology earlier, the science of happiness.
Yeah.
So again, am I too negative? Am I always? And what is it that I think all the time? What is the image? What is my self-esteem like?
Yeah.
Right? And noticing that, and then understanding that, is it very negative?
Yeah.
Or am I too confident about myself? So these are things that we need to become aware of and work on. And emotions, feelings, like health, just like our physical health.
Yeah.
Sometimes our body gives way. We need to get assistance. And once we do that, then it comes back to normal, right? Similarly with our mental health, sometimes our mood swings are too much, right? And so just noticing and taking care of yourself. What is it that I need at this point in time so that I can take care of myself and regulate my emotions? Because having these strong emotions can be very, very harmful. It impacts my relationship.
True.
It impacts my performance. It impacts my confidence level. So the best thing to do is to notice, try to accept it, work on it, regulate it, and transform it. Right. So this is how one can balance and transform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think here meditation plays an important role as well. I can give you my example.
Yeah.
Whenever I do meditation, I feel very light. I feel empowered. And it's a very good exercise.
Yes.
And it is very important to have self-awareness as well. But these days, I have noticed that people are not inclined towards meditation. Nowadays you see a lot of YouTube videos is there to help you. Guided meditation is there. We have so much of content available in order to help us to become more self-aware.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Do you follow all these things?
Yes,
Do you do meditation?
I do it. It's a regular practice.
Oh my God,
So
that's good.
yeah,
Evening or morning?
I do it in the morning.
Okay.
And evening is reflection.
Reflection.
I just do a reflection on myself. Like as I said, before going to sleep, I do a self-check.
Okay.
What were things that I did?
Okay. On a daily basis.
Yes.
Do you write something?
Sometimes I write, sometimes I draw, sometimes I just say it. It all depends on
Okay.
how.
Do you do self-talk as well?
Yes, I do
Okay.
self-talk.
Okay.
But then I'm aware of what I'm talking.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
So it's not just lost. And
I love self-talk.
Right. And I also feel that I'm my best companion. I enjoy my own company.
True.
Yeah. So yes. Yeah.
I can see my reflection in you.
Yeah. So yes, as you said, meditation brings a lot of calm and peace.
Yeah.
And over time, I have understood how important it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can also be very challenging because like every day is not Sunday. So there are times when I meditate and I become very angry or very disturbed because what is in me, something could have happened that has triggered that emotion. And when I am settled, it surfaces and it begins to show.
True.
So that's when I need to practice self-care. Yeah, not blaming myself or not being angry with myself, but yeah.
Okay, so that brings to the last question of podcast. I wanted to ask about the positivity. Positive psychology emphasizes more on optimism and gratitude. How can cultivating a positive mindset impact not just our mental health, but overall ability to achieve and thrive in life?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, we are wired to have this negativity bias. That again goes back to science, the primitive brain, the amygdala and things like that, right? So bringing in positivity requires conscious effort. And why positivity? As I mentioned earlier, we have these happy hormones in us that helps to release stress, anxiety, depression. And so we need to, and also I think we are blessed, isn't it?
True.
Throughout the day, if you notice,
Yeah.
there are so many good things happening. But
Yeah.
we tend not to
True.
overcome.
We have to focus on this thing as well.
Yes, we overlook them.
Yeah.
And we take them
And
for
take,
granted.
yeah, I wanted to use the same word.
Yeah.
And we have to have a gratitude for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, having parents.
Yeah.
Having
True.
a warm food when you
Yes.
go home. There's someone
Having a
who's-
family.
Yes, having family.
They're all alive.
Right.
They're in
right.
front of you.
Yes, yes. And we are so lost in the
Yeah.
doing, mode. We are always in the doing mode. So we neglect or we overlook these things. But what is the essence of life? If
True.
you look at it, what is it that we are here for?
True.
And at the end of the day, what matters?
Yeah.
What really gives us inner joy and happiness? When you see your child smiling,
Yeah.
that makes you forget everything. So isn't that important? So that's how I think, it helps to nourish us.
True.
So always remembering or recalling, making the effort to appreciate good things in life and to be grateful, because there's so many people who don't have it.
True.
Right.
And you have it.
Yes. So I'm blessed.
I'm blessed too. So thank you for joining in for this podcast. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for this wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So on this note, I would like to end the podcast. We will meet with some other guests in my next podcast. Till then, please take care of yourself. Bye-bye.